Hello, this video is for the programming of the spacer plate using 360. Okay. So if you haven't got this project up, we've done this before, so you should have it in your Fusion. Okay. And now what we're going to do is, since we designed it, now we got to go ahead and make it. So first step is to come over here to your design, come down here to manufacture. And then, like any other first step, make sure that up here in the units, it is in inches, just so that we're on the same page. All right. So the first step into programming CNC is that you have to do a setup. Okay. So your setup is here. So you're going to click on that, and then this box will come up. Okay. First, you can do the machine. Okay, and we're going to skip this step because this is just going to be a general. Later on, we'll use the Tormach. Okay, make sure that under operation type that you are going to do milling. And then the next thing we got to do is to orientate. Get the X, Y, and Z plane or the coordinate system in the correct location. Okay. So right now mine's is up here and it's in the wrong location because I want this to be the top. I want Z to come up this way. So I want to do like, okay, this is laying down on the table. Just like, oops, just like that. Okay, so the table is right here. So let's move this a little bit that way. All right, so under orientation, come down here and select Z and X. Z-axis is going up and down. Okay, so I need to pick an edge that's going to be going up and down. Well, that's going to be this guy, the very edge, the line. So that's my Z-axis. Okay, and you notice my Z is pointing down. That's going to be the positive. I want positive to go up. So I'm going to flip this so that Z is pointing upwards. Now you might have to zoom out and zoom in to find this. For the x-axis, I want that going left and right, so I'm going to pick an edge. Any edge, it could be this one, it could be that one, that's going left and right. And then you notice again, my x is going to the positive to the left. Well, I want positive going to the right. So I'm going to flip axis again. And then y just comes out naturally. Okay. Our next step in this is to pick where the origin is. Okay, and we're going to use the stock box. The stock is the raw piece of material that we're going to use. So we're going to leave that as is, but then down here it says stock point. We want to click on that button. Okay. Zoom to the left side here. And you see these three dots here. You want to pick the top one. Okay, this means X is going to go, positive X is going to go to the right. Positive Y is going to go up. Positive Z is going up. And this is the top of my surface. So it knows where the top is. Okay. Next is the stock. Okay. And we want to go a relative size box. Okay. And that means it's going to put a material, and that's what this gray part right here is. What's the metal? Okay, so we don't want to offset on the sides. Okay, so our metal is just going to come right to this length. So it's the bottom, but we don't want nothing there. Okay, let me show you. But the top here, yeah, we want a little bit of metal so that we can make sure that that top is nice and smooth. Okay. Then it also down here tells me what is the size I need for my stock. So I would go out and shop, find a piece of metal this size. Okay, so we're just going to say okay. And that's it for the setup. Okay. All right. Next, what we need to do is to face this guy, making sure that this top surface is nice and smooth. Okay. So we're going to come up here to face. And the first thing we need to do is pick our tool. So we're going to hit select. Okay, here's all our different tool types. The tool type I want is a face mill. Okay. And this is up here because I've done this previous in class, so ignore that right now. You won't have that. Okay, but after you hit face mill, make sure it's also in mill up here. And you're going to hit Fusion 360 library. And then you only have two options. So since we did things in inches, we're going to click on inches. And this will give you all the information about that tool. Later on, you'll have some option here on the speed and surface and all that good stuff. So we're going to hit select. Okay. And we're not going to worry about this, any of this down here. In geometry, okay, we're telling it what to cut out. And so you want to click this outer edge, and you'll notice the whole edge is selected. When you select it, you'll get that yellow line. Okay, heights. Heights is how far we're going to move the tool up and down. Okay. So this blue line down here, that one, that's the bottom. How deep are we cutting? Well, we just want to cut right there to the top. So down here where it says bottom height, make sure it says model top. Okay. That's the big one. All right, next on passing, make sure all this is red, or sorry, black. Click off leave to stock if it's checked. And then make sure all this is black and then say okay. Let me show you what happens here. You're going to get this, what's called a tool path. It's showing you the path that the tool is going to take. Okay. So to simulate that, to see how it will work, you come up here to this button that says simulate. Click on it. Okay. Now, I would suggest you click on the stock feature, because then that shows you the metal that you're using, and it'll change color as it cuts. Okay. This slot right here, or this knob, is the speed. Okay. So go ahead and hit play, and you can see, I'll turn my tool back on, how this tool is going to go across and remove that top material. Just like that. The only thing it didn't cut is this part right here, but we're going to cut that away anyway. There is a way to change this where this comes out to here. And you know what? This is okay. All right, so just hit close. All right. Next, we're going to do the outer edge. Okay, so we're going to use 2D adaptive clearance. Okay, and again, you got to select tool. Now, it already has a tool here, but that's our face mill. It remembers what the last tool was, but we don't need that. So we're going to hit select. Make sure you're on milling, and you want a flat end mill. And then you come over to Fusion 360, and you're going to get a nice long list of tools. Okay, I suggest use a 1/2 inch, but you can experiment and try the different size tools. Okay, if you go too big, it'll say no tool path created. And then you can see here all your different materials, the feeds, how fast the spindle should be. Okay. So I'm just going to leave it as is. Go next, or select. Okay, so you got all this information here. So I can override how fast that spindle is going to be. Okay, since we're just simulation it, that's okay. All right, geometry. Again, you're going to hit that very corner, that edge where everything gets highlighted. And you should get a box like that. Okay, you also should get a red arrow pointing in what direction travel is going to go. All right. Next, height. Okay, come all the way down to bottom height. Change the select contour to model bottom. Okay, and what that will do is move that line here to the bottom. We're going to cut all the way through.
Please do this announcement. Seniors, you will gather for your.
All right, sorry about that. All right, as I was saying, we're going to cut this all the way through. So make sure it says bottom, model bottom. Okay, next on passing, make sure we're going to leave stock to leave off. We don't want extra stock on there. And smoothing, which will eliminate unneeded movement. Okay, probably right here you're going to notice under ultimate load, okay, it's red. Okay, this has to be lower the diameter that we're using. Since the diameter is 1/2 inch, this got to be lower. So we're just going to go on this guy, we're just going to select, bump it down to 4. Should be fine. Okay, make sure everything else is black. Okay, the last linking, again, make sure everything is black. Okay, and then go here, and then we're going to say okay. Okay, so as you can see, it's processing. Okay, and then we see our toolpath, and let's simulate it. So depending on what tool you selected, it'll act differently. Now I want to show you something about that corner. Okay, that corner would be sharp, but since we have a round tool, it can't get in there. So that's something you have to keep in mind when you're doing parts in CNC. Okay, close. We got one more thing to do. It's cut out these circles. We're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to go into 2D adapt clearance. We're going to keep the same tool, but make sure it says 1/2 inch flat end mill. Okay. We're going to go to geometry, and then you're going to click the inside edge. Okay, that inside edge right there. You get that little black line. You can do that one, and do this one too. You're going to get those red arrows. So it's going to go around in this direction. Okay. Height, again, you're going to come all the way down and say model bottom, because we're going to cut them all the way through. Okay. Next, take the stock to leave out. Make everything is nice and black. Go back, everything nice and black. All right, and then say, okay. And there's our toolpath. So let's go ahead and simulate it. The reason why it goes hex here, because that end mill is flat. There's no cutting edges. So it's cutting with the very side edge of the tool. There we go. If you want to see the whole process, make sure you come up here and select Setup and then Simulate. And this will do the whole thing. Okay, I'll speed this up. Okay, Surface, Profile. Okay. So also with this, it tells me how long this is going to take. So this is going to take 1 minute and almost 2 minutes. Now, since I'm done, okay, make sure you save. Now, you can do this on your Chromebook, but I'm going to demonstrate it to you. To send this out to the CNC machine, what we call post-processing. You're going to come up here to the post-process. You're going to pick the post or the machine language, okay? And you can see there are a lot of machine languages, okay? I'm just going to do with Fantic. And then we're going to say, okay, so we're going to select that machine. And we're going to use it anyway. Okay, this is the program number. Okay, any number work. Just don't make sure that first number, first one there, don't change it because if you change it to like a 8 or a 9, that's hidden files on the machine. And so if you put this like 808001, you load it up, that program will be gone. It's hidden from you. Okay, so I would just leave it in the thousands. Here you can put a comment, okay, what this part is. So we can say this is spacer plate. I'm going to download it on my desktop, okay, and let's go ahead and just post-process it. Yep, we're going to overwrite it. Okay, and then it's going to come up. And this is a version right there. Okay. So here is your machine. Let's see. Yep. Okay. And everything that we need to know. This is what's the machine code. This is what you have just drawn. Okay. So now I'd save this onto a USB drive, take it out of the machine, and load it up. Okay. So if you have any questions or problems, let me know. And that'll be it for this video. See you next time.